Dual income, no kids, aka Dinks, or there's also dinkwads, so dual income, no kids with a dog. This has kind of been a growing thing in society, definitely in the United States, but I think even worldwide. I know that for myself and my fiance, we are currently Dinks. We're not yet married, but you know, we do live in the same household together, so dual income, no kids. We also do not want children whatsoever. And actually right now we are dinkwads, but we do not want to remain dinkwads. We have a foster dog, so she's up for adoption, and we would not get a dog after that, or any pets for that matter. So we will remain Dinks once we become actually married. And talking about choosing to be child-free, like making a dedicated video for that is probably something I'll never do. I won't say never, but it's something I don't think I'll make a video on, just because it tends to attract people who are so against people making a decision for themselves. Like it really confuses me why people are so concerned about my body, my relationship, my choice, literal huge life choice. Like if I do not want a child or children, you shouldn't, if somebody doesn't want a child, you shouldn't be convincing them that they need to have a child. It's crazy. It's mind-boggling to me. For whatever reason, when it comes to that topic, people feel that they can express their opinion around it and like force their opinion around it. And I'm not here for it. Like, this is my life and I am okay. Like, I'm making the decision, so I get to be okay with what I decide. And I don't really want any external feedback or opinions on that. I don't care if people want children. Like, have children. That's great. If you want them, then have them. If you are a fit parent and you are happy to have children, then by all means, please have children. But the same should go for me. Like, if I don't want children, if myself and my fiance, future husband, do not want children, then you don't need to be telling me like, oh, you're still young. Like, I'm 32. I know I'm still young, but I have felt this way since I was like late teenager, maybe even before that, and it's never changed. Like, if anything, I'm even more convinced that I do not want children. And there are a number of reasons around that, which I'm not going to get into because, like I said, I'm not going to talk about it. But the main one being that I just don't want children. We do not want children. And so that's enough in and of itself. So there are a lot of people out there who feel the same way that we do and choose to be Dinks because we just want to be child-free. But I do know that more recently people feel kind of forced to be child-free, or they're definitely postponing things because the way that the economy is going or the world is going, they don't feel financially stable, whatever the case may be. Some people can't even find a reliable partner. I saw an article on that recently. This topic was actually requested, and the term Dinks, I honestly want to say that it came from the FIRE movement. I don't know where it first came from. I actually tried, when I search dink in Google, it thinks that I'm saying like drinks, like it thinks I'm misspelling drink. So I have to literally type in dual income, no kids. So it's not even like that common of a phrase, I don't think. But I'm pretty sure the first time that I heard it was in association with the FIRE movement, because, you know, with being dual income and not having children, that does open up kind of more opportunity as far as money goes. I know that children aren't that expensive. You know, if all goes smoothly, then it really shouldn't cost that much for raising a child. But long term, obviously, it does cost more to have a child or multiple children compared to not having children. Same goes with having pets, honestly. So Dinks are one thing, but dinkwads, that's also different, because there are people who spend thousands, potentially tens of thousands of dollars on their pets, just depending on, you know, if they have vet visits or just regular maintenance of having a pet. So, but anyways, as somebody who is a dink or a part of a dink relationship, it is much easier to live this way by having two incomes. Now, we do not combine our finances. Even when we get married, there's a lot of things that we're not combining. There is going to be some combination. I'll talk about that at some point. But just by being able to split the main bills, like the house, the utilities, all of those things, and even travel, it makes finances so much easier and allows for more opportunity to save, to invest, to pay for things that you just want to buy. So I don't know exactly what to expect from these TikToks. All I searched on TikTok was Dinks, and I haven't picked any. I'm just going to click through these and see which ones stick, per usual. Everyone in this video, I will have their TikTok linked in the description box. So let's see what we get into.
Why is nobody talking about being Dinks? Well, I'm freshly married and I'm going to talk about it. Here's our life as Dinks in our early 30s. No shocker here, folks. Today we went to Costco. We don't have kids to feed, but we got lots of money to spend on goodies. Brian always checks out while I get a box, and then I sit here and look cute. Here's the haul, and our total was $252. The register game at Costco never gets old. You cannot tell me that grocery shopping and a fresh slice of Costco pizza isn't a good date night. I mean, you can tell me that, but I don't believe it. Obviously, we had car cookies for dessert, and yeah, I will probably just make this a series now, so follow along for more Dink content.
This is kind of a random video. Wasn't really sure what to expect with this, but a Dink couple went to Costco, got some pizza, and I don't know what the point of this video was exactly, because, I mean, you could do this with children. It's just going to be, you're going to have to buy food for them, of course, which what they bought would cover children too for the most part. And then if you're getting pizza, you're probably gonna have to get it for your children as well and share the snacks in the car. So you could do this with the child as well. It's just like personal preference, obviously. Let me see some of these comments. Somebody said, I'm a single income, no kids. Let's talk about Dink vacations. That's the real winner. They're not lying. Oh, here we go. We stopped being Dinks in April 2021. We bring our daughter to our Costco pizza dates now. Respect. Goals. Me personally, I hate Costco's. I don't go to Costco. I don't have a membership. There's also not one nearby, honestly. It would be quite a drive. And I think it would benefit us at some point, but it's just like, why would we get it right now when we are not even close to one? I don't know. Sometimes I just think like based off of what we buy, and we still purchase our own groceries. I don't think that's even going to change when we get married. It's not going to change. I know that because we buy our own groceries and go to different grocery stores because we just prefer different things. And so I don't know if a Costco membership would even benefit us aside from like, I don't know, maybe like the staples. All right, let's go to the next one.
Welcome to Dual Income No Kids Headquarters. How can I help you?
Okay, so I'm assuming they know, yeah, they don't want to be, when your resignation from being Dinks is denied. Okay, so they want children. That's kind of sad. John and I have always posted skits inspired by what's going on in our lives, and that includes this one. We never thought we would be here making this follow-up to our first video, resigning as Dinks, but here we are. And that's life, real life. Real life. There are ups and downs, and along the way, I've discovered that a little, sometimes dark humor brings moments of relief. This post is a small part of that journey, a reminder that it's okay to give ourselves and each other permission to laugh again. So I don't know if this was a miscarriage or they just like are trying and having trouble with it. So yeah, there's some people who no longer want to be Dinks.
Welcome to Dual Income No Kids Headquarters. How can I? Oh, you two again. Remember what we discussed last time? Just a quick review. No more access to the following: peace and quiet, disposable income, 8 hours of sleep, privacy. Understood. Congratulations, you two.
Okay, wait, let me see when this... So this is obviously the same couple. They posted this September 16th. Oh, okay, so this one last year that they posted it was July 2024. So they did get pregnant, had a baby.
Welcome to Dual Income No Kids.
They obviously wanted this, so congrats to them.
You know, I say we're not ready for kids. We're not ready to retire as Dinks because there's so much that we want to do, but also because there's so much that we don't want to do. I'm sitting here on a Friday night, finishing an entire pizza, watching The Devil Wears Prada with the man that I love, and wearing a face mask. No place I'd rather be. There's so much that I don't want to do.
Yeah, this is a part of why we don't want children as well. It's a lifestyle choice, for sure. When I think there's even times that like having a foster dog, she is an inconvenience sometimes, you know? I like literally, this happens almost daily. I made my dinner, maybe I go and do the dishes, and then I go and sit comfy on the couch under my blanket, and then she gets up, walks to the back door and stares at me, meaning she has to go to the bathroom, even though I was just up and she wasn't trying to go to the bathroom. So, and then of course I got to get up. Like, okay, you know? And it's not something I'm willing to give up. So call me selfish all you want, but if I'm aware of that, what's the problem? You know, I don't want that life. It's not for me. And knowing who I am and how I handle things in my life, like I just know I would be overwhelmed by a baby crying, multiple children loud, whatever the case may be. I really like silence. And a lot of times people will say like, oh, you get over that or you adjust and it's worth it, blah, blah, blah. I understand that. I understand I would adjust. I'm not saying I would be a bad mother or anything, but I just don't want that. I don't want to have to adjust. I don't want that comfort taken from my life. And it's honestly such a relief to know that I do not want children. I find it to be very peaceful is the best term that I can think of. I definitely can empathize with women who are my age or older and they're not in a relationship and they do want children, or they are just struggling with fertility and not able to have children and they really want that. You know, I'm glad I don't feel that way, because there is a timeline associated with it. But I feel a lot of relief around, not even relief, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like a lot of gratitude, I guess, that I feel this way, and how good my life is because of it. I hope that's coming off the right way, but I'll just feel that way sometimes. Like just a lot of gratitude around being secure in that decision, you know?
If you are single and scared at any age, I'm 39.
I'm 39 as well.
There's really no reason to be afraid. When we were your age, however old you are, there was no one on the internet that we could look up to that was single, childless, not married, not engaged, that was really living like this big, beautiful life and that was doing it independently and on their own. I thought at the age of 25, 30, 32, that if you were 38, 39 and single, like, what's wrong with you? What's gone wrong?
Is she a red flag?
Yeah. I think it's a bigger red flag to jump into a marriage, which is crazy. It's a contract between two people that doesn't always turn out well. And for people to just say like, well, it shows commitment. Like, does it? I think this relationship shows commitment. We've been friends for 12 years. I have friends that I've known since I was in 5th grade. That shows commitment. I've had dogs that I keep until they pass away. That shows commitment.
And it shows a commitment to yourself. Like, you don't want to settle. Like, you know what makes you happy. And if someone comes into my life and they don't better my life, I just would rather be single until I find that right person.
It shows discernment to remain single. It shows a lot of strength.
Every year goes by, I get to know myself a little bit better and I'm more comfortable with myself. My identity becomes stronger.
So if you feel like you're struggling or you're sad or you're scared, hopefully this can give you a little bit of reprieve or a little bit of hope or just something that like we didn't have.
Take your time.
Yeah, take your time.
Obviously, this is not dink content, so I don't know, why did this come up as, did they use that hashtag or something? Yeah, dinks of TikTok and sync, which is interesting. They are beautiful. They look great for 39. I've been with my fiance for over 8 years now, so I don't know, the dating world to me would be so scary. Like, I don't know, I have no advice for people that are single. And of course it is going to be harder as you get older, because there are some people who are okay with people already having like gone through a divorce or they already have children, something like that. But there are, thinking of myself, honestly, I think I would have a hard time ending up with somebody who already had children or who had already gone through a divorce or two, and so trying to find somebody who is similar to you, like-minded, and doesn't like have a history to deal with. I know that sounds crazy, but that's genuinely how I feel. I just think it adds some complexity to the mix. And of course, it's harder to find people at the age of 39 who have never been married and who have never had children. But if they want relationships, I hope they find that eventually, and that goes for anybody. So let's see some comments here. I don't have anything. Friends, husband, no kids. I've been searching for years. That's sad. Y'all look rested and less stressed. 45, never married, child-free. The only thing that scares me is men. Proof that girlies stay beautiful when their energy isn't sucked dry by a man. Not every man is going to be a bad thing in your life. I think that is also an unhealthy outlook. Somebody said, my mom adopted me single at 38. If you want children, you can be a mom without a man. You can, but I don't know. I do think having both parents is important. Like, yeah, I don't know. Okay. I don't know why this show, they put the hashtag Dinks on there, but that's not accurate. But they look great.
We're Dinks. Our house is clean and quiet.
We're Dinks. We can go to bed at 9 p.m. and still complain about being tired.
We're Dinks. We have a pet that we treat like our child.
We're Dinks. We get to be the fun aunt and uncle.
We're Dinks. We buy plane tickets instead of presents.
We're Dinks. We spend money on things that we want, like boats.
We're Dinks. We can go on vacation on a whim.
We're Dinks. The only asses we wipe are our own.
We're Dinks. We can be drunk right now.
So technically they're dink wads. I don't know if they have a dog, but she's mentioned pets. One thing though, the first thing she said here was like, our house is always clean. If you have pets, it's not always clean. I think that's also another thing that we struggle with having a foster dog. Like, her toys are around and there's like extra blankets. You can see her crate, obviously, and then there's going to be more fur. Then of course I'm going outside more, she's going outside, and that tracks into the house. We don't wear like outside shoes, but her paws, I don't wipe them each time I come inside. I would not do that. But yeah, this is kind of just a fun little video they put together. The parents who keep saying you'll die alone. Thank God. I hate the idea of being surrounded by people. We're 49-year-old dinks and have never regretted it. The freedom can't be matched. This post is awesome. I love being dinks. Wouldn't want it any other way. A lot of people are saying that there's mean comments from parents. I'm not seeing those because I think these are sorted by like who they've already responded to. I'm not sure. But I have seen, and I've screenshotted, it's somewhere in my photos, I've screenshotted times where I've seen comments from parents saying how they regret having their children, or they like hate having children, or they talk like serious trash about their children. And I've experienced this in person as well with parents. I remember at my old job, we all went to the office, like we all went to it was for our all hands meeting. So we were all there, the whole company, for 2 days or so. And oh my goodness, the trash that some of my coworkers were saying about their children. I know that they love their children, but it was just it was wild to me. The thing that I don't get is why those who choose to have children are so angry at people who don't want to have children. I don't know what it is. I genuinely think that they feel defensive about it. I did find a comment. I will never understand people who don't have kids. My life didn't start until my kids were born. Like, that's crazy. I have so much meaning in my life, and I don't need children to prove anything or feel like my life had begun, you know? That's so interesting. All right, let's move on.
We're Dinks. Of course we have no snacks in our pantry.
We're Dinks. Of course we have a baby gate for our dogs.
We're Dinks. Of course we have a table that seats 8 people for the 2 of us. Can you pass the butter?
Yeah, sure. We're Dinks. Of course we spend all our money on our dogs.
We're Dinks. Of course we have our wedding photos all over the house. We're Dinks.
Another one. Again, they are not dinks, they're dink wads. And yeah, everybody's gonna be different. So you may spend more on travel or things for the house or a boat like that other one, or it could be for your dogs. So yeah, it just allows you to kind of just do what you want with your money and with your time. We also never have any fun snacks in the pantry. Like, it's really rare, and we always talk about it. Like, we make fun of ourselves. Like, why is there never any good food in this house? But if we were to buy it, we would eat it, obviously. And I have, like, if there's junk food in the house, I have no self-control. I will eat it. So I have self-control at the grocery store, and I won't buy it, obviously here and there. But if there's like a bag of chips in the pantry, I'll finish it in a day. So just can't have it.
This is why I know I'm not meant to have kids. I just came home from babysitting my 5-year-old nephew, and I am so tired. I love coming home to my peace, my quietness, and now I'm going to take an hour-long shower routine because I can.
Absolutely. Just having the control of your time. It's very important to me. Having quietness is important as well. Like, I get headaches a lot. So I can't imagine like crying or screaming, anything like that. I couldn't do it. See, somebody commented, I would rather be tired and spend time with my son than any alternative universe. Like, yes, you probably feel that way, but like, that's fine. That's fine for you. That's what you want, but not everybody wants that. Not everybody feels that way. And it's not to say that if people who didn't want children end up having children, that they wouldn't love them or feel that way as well. But if you're actively choosing not to have children, then like, leave us alone. I don't get it.
Have you heard the term dinks? Have you been seeing the videos of people saying, we're double income with no kids, so we're like, can do whatever we want, whenever we want, and spend whatever money we want, and it's so awesome because we don't have kids. Guess where that's going to get you? It's going to get you broke, okay? Because kids are not the issue. Having kids does not inherently make you broke. If you don't know how to be financially savvy, you've never been taught to save or make your money make money, then yeah, you're going to be broke, okay? It doesn't come from having children, though, and it's disgusting. This movement of children being labeled as something that makes you lose money or become broke and poor. You want to know what makes you become broke and poor? Not having enough income for the way that you live, which most dinks seem to be doing, right? Spending money on whatever you want, even if it's not financially feasible. Never saving, not having retirement, traveling outside of your means so you can look like you're cool in the dinks community. Okay, it's absolutely ridiculous that this notion is being placed around saying, because you have children, you are struggling. Because you have children, you have less than. Because you have children, it's a financial struggle. No, that all comes from not managing your money well, not being paid enough, not having a high enough paying job. So if you are there and you're struggling, and these dink videos are literally making you feel like, gosh, was it because we had kids? No, your kids are a blessing. Love those babies.
Honestly, this isn't what it's about, though. Like, yeah, it's not just down to the finances. It's just a phrase, like dual income, no kids. Like, yes, I know income is associated with it, but at the end of the day, it's not just finance that the reason why people aren't choosing to have children. Definitely not for me. And somebody even commented that I don't think all dinks are not having children because of money. The most of us just don't feel like brushing kids' teeth and cleaning their butts. I know I've already said this a few times, but one of the big reasons is people just do not want children. Like, you do not have a desire to have children, and that's why you choose to be quote unquote dink. Obviously, there are going to be some creators out there, whether it's on TikTok or anywhere else, they're dinks and they're saying negative things toward people having children. And I don't agree with either side of this, you know? Like, if you want to have children and you, like I said at the beginning, and you are financially responsible, you are overall responsible, you are willing to have children, then great, you can take care of them. And then on the other side of that, if you do not want children, I think like we should, like both sides should just leave each other alone. Anyways, what she's saying is kind of, yeah, like just, it's not just about that, for sure.
This is how my husband and I combine our finances as a married couple who are double income, no kids. So we don't do 50-50 splits. We don't do any percentage splits, none of that. I personally think it makes things way more confusing than it needs to be. Here is what we do, however. All of our money goes into one bank account from I am a small business owner. I have my own business, and he currently works a 9-to-5. Now, we both contribute to our retirements. He does it as a part of his employer, and I contribute to my retirement from my small business. So that happens before the money comes into this account. Now, once the money comes into that account, our bills get paid, our expenses, we have money sent to a separate checking account to handle our monthly expenses. So think food, think gas, think any home things that we would need to buy throughout the month. That goes to one account. We both have access to it. We both use it together. We also have money that goes to savings. So if we're working on a joint savings goals together, that also happens after all the money hits that main bill account. So money automatically gets dispersed into savings, or it gets dispersed into the checking account for us to spend collectively, right? After that, the money left over just gets split and sent to the both of us. Now, these accounts, I don't have access to his. He doesn't have access to mine. We can choose to save it. We can choose to spend it. I literally don't care how he spends his money, because I know at the end of the day, all of our money came in together. We're both contributing to our retirement. We are putting money towards our joint savings goals. We are make sure we have our monthly expenses taken care of from that shared checking account. And then outside of that, we can have our own savings. We can have our own spending, whatever we want to do with that money, and we just split it. We don't necessarily make it a 50-50 thing. It's like all of our money is collectively ours, and then we make sure the priorities are taken care of, and we split the rest to spend or save however we want individually. Now, let me say this. I have been the breadwinner when I was, my background's in engineering, so I used to be an engineer. I was the breadwinner. He made less money than me. Then it switched when I went to my job full time. He made more money than me. Now we're back up to almost like equal. And then I might, be the bread. I say all this to say, regardless of who's the breadwinner, the system has worked the same. It keeps things peaceful. We have full transparency of all the bills that we're paying, of all the...
I think the most important thing here is they're doing what works for them, So this sounds like a great system. Like I was talking about before, as of right now, everything we do is separate. And for the house, I just send him money to cover the mortgage and the bills and all of that. But once we get married, we are going to have a joint account, a joint checking account, as well as savings account, so that we can send money for those shared expenses, including like food out together, which will be nice. And then we'll probably have some joint savings goal moving forward, like, buying their next home or saving for travel, that type of thing. And we haven't figured out those numbers as of yet, like how much we're going to be contributing to that checking account on a monthly basis, for example, but we're going to still keep everything else separate. So keep our retirement separate, because we both contribute to our Roth IRA, to our 401ks, and then the remainder of our money earned, it stays like we can use it as we want to. We're both financially responsible, so that would be spending on what we need to, what we want to, savings, so on and so forth.
We're Dinks. Our family or friends are going to say we'll definitely want to have kids. Just give it another year or two.
We're Dinks. The only person I have to fight over snacks with is my wife.
We're Dinks. We're going to get told by people with kids that they can do everything that we do, as if we don't already know that.
We're Dinks. We're going to have the we have food at home conversation with ourselves.
We're Dinks.
I wasn't ready.
We're Dinks. People are going to call us selfish, and we're going to be okay with that.
We're Dinks. We're going to get a dog and become dinkwads. Double income, no kids, with a dog.
We're Dinks. We're going to treat that dog like it's our child.
We're Dinks. I'm going to go to Gopher football games, Twins games, and maybe fit in a round of 18 whenever I feel like it.
We're Dinks. If we invite you and your kids into our home, we're going to look into how we can make it a safe environment for everyone.
We're Dinks. We're going to go get late night ice cream whenever we want to.
We're Dinks. We're going to normalize that you can live a full and wonderful life even without kids.
We're Dinks. We're going to go babysit our nephews and be set for a couple of months.
That was good.
Yeah, similar to the ones we've already seen, and some of these things that they said I've already touched on, like, oh, you'll change your mind in a couple of years. You're young, you can change your mind. So tired of it. Like, at what age does that stop? 45? Like when a woman is expected to be in menopause, I suppose? I don't know.
Kids are cool and all, but have you ever seen the lifestyle of a dink that's a double income, no kids couple? Like, that is literally birth control. I know a few people who are dinks and I follow them on Instagram, so every now and then I'll see what they're up to. And from what I can tell, they take all the money that most couples would put towards their kids and they put it towards luxury. Like, anytime I open an Instagram story, it feels like they're traveling somewhere, always staying in a beautiful resort, ocean view. When they're not traveling, you get to see their gorgeous apartment that's in like a luxury high-rise building with views of the skyline. And when they socialize, they're at like the most expensive restaurants.
Okay, so this can be a bit misleading. There's plenty of people who are just post like their dinks, whatever. It doesn't mean that you have to go and spend on luxury. Also, a lot of those people probably have debt as well. Like this doesn't, just because you don't have kids doesn't mean you don't rack up the credit card debt. And as we already talked about, kids don't have to be expensive. We do, as a dual income, no kid couple, we do spend quite a bit more on travel compared to other people. But we spend more on travel than people who also are in the same situation as us, because we like to travel and we're not really like frugal about it, but it's just something that we prioritize in our life. But we definitely don't go out to expensive restaurants. We're not buying a boat like a couple of these people have said. We're not doing anything crazy. Like, we are still financially responsible. I think mixing a child into, like, if y'all look at my budget on a monthly basis, yes, there are things that I am spending on quote unquote unnecessarily, like personal spending, or I get my monthly massages, and I do have pets that I need to pay for, and then I do purchase like more expensive lotion or beauty products just because personal preference, and I spend more on groceries. So those are things that if I were to have a child, I would have to cut them out because I would not be able to afford it. Like, I genuinely, introducing a child into the mix would be tricky for me financially. Like, obviously I would have the support of my fiance and, you know, future husband, but then that would take away from spending on travel or how much we're investing, that type of thing. So this is misleading. Like, if you are seeing dinks spending on luxury, they could very well be in debt as well with no children.
If you're over 35 and you're married and you don't have kids, what do you guys find?
Wait, this is a great question. Okay, so mostly I would say we argue about what country to go to next. So the way I deal with that is, like, I'll basically just book the trip, book the flights, book the hotel, and then my husband can just find out where we're going, like, when we get to the airport.
So the question was, if you're over 35, married, you don't have kids, what do you fight about? Like, there's still plenty of things to argue about, obviously. But it is less stressful. I think introducing kids, it does bring... It brings differences into the marriage. Like, each person was raised differently. So when one parent wants to parent a different way, and then, yeah, I think that does open up some room. Or just, like, allowing your child to do one thing and your spouse doesn't want them to, or just decisions around the finances, like together, but also with children. Yeah, I could see how it adds some complexity. But there's still, when you don't have children, obviously there's going to be arguments, but it's never anything like significant. It's like, why didn't you wash the dishes type of thing. All right, let's just do, I don't know, maybe one or two more.
Double income, no children, let's talk about it. So this comment was from a podcast video talking about the dink lifestyle, and let's read it together. Imagine all the woke kids wanting the dink lifestyle and probably realize when they're 50s that it's a dumb choice for the world. Okay, so currently I live the dink lifestyle with my partner, but it is arguable because we have 4 cats. Child number 4 wants to say hello, but it's interesting that you use the word woke because this is not exactly a new thing, and this reaction is also not new. I get this sometimes when I tell people that my partner and I don't want to have kids. And it's always in the lines of, you know, doing a disservice to society or your family lineage. Okay, firstly, what is this, the 1800s? And secondly, we have our own reasons why we don't want to have kids. And one reason being that we think that Singapore is not a great place to raise them. And that's a completely valid opinion that other people may have. Another issue that I want to address is that when people say that they don't want children, other people automatically think that we hate children, and that cannot be further from the truth because, in fact, I am an amazing uncle. You have to be careful with this kind of mindset because with the people who chooses not to have kids versus the people who cannot have kids, we have community, and community can be just as strong as family ties. So yeah, I'm a great uncle, and I feel like I'm doing good to the community by imparting knowledge and teaching people to accept differences with love. So what am I regretting here?
Yeah, I don't know why, like, you're not, my life has, it really doesn't have anything to do with with anybody. If I'm choosing not to have children, how does that affect you? Sure, maybe I'm not contributing to the population, right? I know it's like, it's behind, it's on the decline, and it needs to be higher, blah, blah, blah. But there's also families who are having 7 children, 12 children. So, like, it's taking care of it, you know? And y'all aren't going to be raising my children, right? What I was surprised by, so he actually posted this back in 2023. He did say that raising children in Singapore, he doesn't think it's a good place to raise children. I'm surprised to hear that, because isn't Singapore like the safest country? Like, you can leave your laptop in the cafe for hours and nobody will take it, and there's like very minimal crime just in general. That's what I thought, but maybe I'm thinking of the wrong place. And somebody commented, I have 3 of them. All I can say is don't. Yeah, also, this doesn't mean I hate children. Like, if you come around me with your children, I'm fine. I can speak to children. I like children. I just don't want them of my own. And I've also experienced this in real life too. Like, we've had this conversation, like, I don't want children. I gave my reasons for it. And they're like, oh, but you are great with children. Like, okay, of course, I'm not going to be, what am I going to slap them around and yell at them? It doesn't mean I want to have children though.
You want to know what it's like to be double income, no kids, dink life? So every time I'm on my period, I drink the same milk tea that I got from this little shop in Shibuya in Japan the last time that I was there. And I drank one last night, and I'm down to 2 left. I have one that I can use my period in March and one in early April. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I just bought more tickets to Japan. We're going back to Japan in April. I've got to get more of my tea. You want to know what it's like to be double income?
Somebody said, just got the quote from my daughter's preschool, $2,200 a month. Enjoy Japan, queen. That's cool. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to stop there. When it comes to this topic, I am always a bit hesitant just because it does bring some unwanted comments. So please save your breath. Like, if you're thinking, oh, you're going to regret not having children, or you're just wanting to comment something around that, please just don't. I'll probably just delete it, honestly. Like, if you have children, amazing. I love that for you. If you love your life with children, that's great. That's how you should have your life. But if I do not want children, like, please respect that. If there's anybody in your life who does not want children, please respect that. It's so much deeper than just finances. Like, trust me, if somebody does not want children, you do not want them having children. I would much rather regret not having children than regret having a child. Thank you for watching. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.